Lightspeed Spanish, podcast number 14.
No, it's 15.
Number 15. Cynthia
Well done.
pointed at number 14 and it's number 15, so that's not my fault. Okay. It's always in a good relationship if you can blame the other person and get away with it. It's a good relationship. Okay.
You don't get away with it. Wait until later.
Okay. In front of everybody. Yes. Alright, so podcast number 15. And this is for early intermediate, and we are dealing with al and del. Now, what do we mean by that? Al and del.
Hola, Gordon.
Hola, Cintia.
¿Qué te cuentas? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, bien. Totalmente bien. Sí.
Totalmente.
Totalmente, sí. ¿Y tú qué tal?
Fenomenal.
Fenomenal.
Sí.
Me alegro.
Gracias, Gordon.
Sí. Bueno, Cintia,
Dime.
entonces, al and del. Unlike many other languages, some languages I studied, like French, where are these called contractions? I'm not entirely sure. Or is that something to do
I'll
with
tell you about contractions
something to do
in
with
2 months.
Okay. Basically, what happens in languages is sometimes words fuse together depending on the structure of them, and Spanish, the Spanish language has those, and it's where you get a and el together in a sentence, or whether you get de and el. Okay. Now both of those fuse together and make what? A and el makes
Al.
al, and de and el
Del.
del. Now, is that the only ones? What about if you have de la or a la?
No. That stays.
That
De
stays the
la.
same?
Yeah, or en la. It's only
Okay.
with a, el, and de, el.
And with the los and the las,
No,
nothing happens.
no.
So the only two events that where they have to join. Yeah. Okay. Typically, these prepositions go with certain verbs as well, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example, what verbs typically have this a with it?
Okay. For example, ir. Very, very common one.
Yeah.
Or jugar. To
Or
play
jugar.
and
Yeah.
to go.
And we've talked about these before, haven't we? Okay. So ir a. Now, ir can also be followed by de, can't it?
Ir.
Uh-huh.
Ir de, yeah.
Yeah.
In some cases, like ir de compras, ir de vacaciones, ir de camping,
See. Okay. All right.
ir
But
de pesca.
typically, and in those situations, there isn't an article that goes with it. It isn't ir de los compras. No, it's
No,
de compras. So
de compras.
it really doesn't affect that. But with a, it certainly does, doesn't it? Because anything, if you were going to anything that's masculine, singular, then you need to create this al. Yeah. What are some examples? I'm going to. What?
Sorry, I thought you were asking me for some examples and then you...
No, I'm
Okay.
kind of leading you toward giving
Right.
some examples.
For example, I'm going to the center. So that would be voy a el centro, which would be voy al centro.
Okay. So voy al centro. Okay.
I'm going to the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Voy a el cine, which becomes voy al cine.
Right. Did you draw my shadow?
Did I? Oh, sorry.
Really?
Perdón.
Okay. Okay. Now, just before we move on to the day, okay, I would like to just take 1 minute to discuss something. One thing that is constantly being missaid, okay, in my classes is with the word trabajo. Okay. Now, trabajo, the work, basically, to work. Okay. The verb is trabajar, to work. I work, trabajo, yo trabajo. And then the place of work, el trabajo. Okay? So what happens is this. People want to say, when you say, what are you doing tomorrow? And they say, I'm going to work. Now, in English, There isn't a distinction between I'm going to do some work or I'm going to the place of work. But typically when people say I'm going to work, they mean I'm going to my place of work. And then once I'm there, I'm going to do some work, yeah?
Mm.
All right. What people tend to get a real super mix-up of this, and you'll hear them say, voy al trabajar, voy al trabaja, voy a trabajo. I've heard everything.
Yeah.
Yeah? You heard the same. So for clarity, when you say I'm going to work, you're saying voy a, I'm going to, my place of work, which is el trabajo. So typically you're going to say voy al trabajo, because you've got to put a and el together. Alright? So bear that in mind when somebody, your teacher's saying, or somebody's saying, what are you doing tomorrow and you want to go to work? Voy al trabajo. Yeah? Good. Alright.
And the other one, it would be voy a trabajar.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to work, to do some work.
Yeah.
Voy a trabajar.
For example, if you were going to work in the garden, voy a trabajar en el jardín.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So that's very different to voy al trabajo. I'm going to my place of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay then. So let's move on to the de.
Del.
Del.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, you would use del in sentences like, for example, the neighbor's house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
So that would be the house of the neighbor. La casa del vecino.
Okay. It's because in the long version it would be la casa de el vecino,
Mm-hmm.
which won't
Becomes
work.
Del.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then that's very common where we would have a sentence with apostrophe s. Fred's house, Michael's car.
Mm-hmm.
Everything would be, well, the car is masculine, the car of Michael. Yeah.
Sí.
El coche. Well, de Michael. No?
De Michael.
De Michael.
El coche de Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Del Michael, no.
Del Michael.
Del Michael. That's very colloquial.
Very village.
Venir. So to come from. But you need to say to come from. Stop it. Or you make me laugh.
I've got the giggles now.
To come from. Because using from, and from is there, please go and stop it or I can't. For example, I come from.
Sorry about this. Okay, I'm alright now.
I come from the center. Please go.
Okay. Of the earth.
Do you want us to stop this and then we continue? Because you're really crying. Why are you laughing?
With cookies on it.
No,
It's because...
shut up, Gordon, please.
Right.
I come from the center. Vengo del centro. Stop this. Okay, stop it. Stop it. Sorry. Why are you laughing? I don't